Hey.
So welcome everybody.
Welcome. We're starting Sefer Dvarim, the fifth book in the Torah. The fifth book was written about what Moshe Rabbeinu said before he passed away. Bnei Israel were in the desert for 40 years, and Moshe Rabbeinu, before they go into Eretz Israel, he's telling them what they're supposed to do, what they're not supposed to do, and say where he was not going in the right way, and gives a lot of musar to the people of Israel.
What is Musar?
Musar, he gives them morals, he gives them ways to behave, ways to keep the mitzvot in a better way. So to prepare them to get into Eretz Israel.
The Holy Land.
The Holy Land, yes.
So the parasha starts with the words Ele hadvarim. These are the things, the words. But there was a very big Kabbalist that lived in Morocco, actually. His name was Rabbi Chaim Ben Attar, and his name is also Haor Kadosh, Or Chaim Kadosh. And he says that Ele, the first word that this parasha starts with, gives the numerical value of 36. 36 is exactly the 36 days that were left of Moshe before he passed away, when he starts the book of Dvarim. So we're now in a parasha that is exactly 36 days before Moshe passed away. And you can imagine how it was for, Moses, Moshe, that was such a big leader. And all his life, he was dedicating every little action to love and protection for, the people. And now he knows that he's about to pass away. He was a very righteous person. He had all the, he knew. It wasn't something that was hidden from him. He knew exactly when he's going to pass away. And now he feels he's going to leave them all alone, kind of like a father leaving his children. And all that he can really do is try to give them his will. Like the book of Dvarim, in English, it's Deuteronomy. I hope I'm saying it right. This is his will. And he's just repeating the main events and the main good and bad things that happened. And he kind of sends there a lot of emotions and a lot of hope, right? A lot of hope that they're gonna do just fine even when he's not around. And the best gift that parents can give their children is independence. Because if we, with all the love that we wanted to give and with all the, gadgets, whatever we gave them, if we didn't really think about how these kids are going to get along in this world, when God forbid the parents are not there, then we didn't really prepare them properly for life. And in a way, we have to learn here from Moshe Rabbeinu, and the way that he prepares us. And once we read that parasha every year, it's kind of like we are going back in time, and we're learning everything that a father should teach their kids, and in the way that is with a lot of compassion and love, but also what are the boundaries? How do you really need to behave in order to succeed in life?
There are several words that have been marked inside the book, and I would like to touch them. One of the things is Moshe Rabbeinu says the word berashechem. Havu lachem anashim chachamim unevonim uyeduim l'shivtechem v'hasimem berashechem. So, what does it actually mean? Now, the Zohar is talking about it, that Moshe Rabbeinu was putting judges, people that will lead the people of Israel right after he's going to go away. Of course, Yoshua bin Nun was the one that was after Moshe, but there were also the Zkenim. And he made sure that he will have people to lead the people of Israel. And we learn from that something very, very important towards our life, because sometimes we think, all of us sometimes, that we are the leaders, we're doing things in the right way, and nobody else can replace us. And we basically make sure that sometimes that we don't have any replacement. And because we think that we are the final solution for everything. And we learn from Moshe Rabbeinu that we always need to make sure that we have somebody that can forward the good things that need to be done. It can be in work, it can be with family, but it needs to continue. And a person should never think that he can't be replaced. And he needs to make sure that the ones that will come after him will do things right.
Okay, we want to touch also a few things that are happening tonight and also in this period of time. So it's not only the parasha is Dvarim, it's also this parasha is already always being read right before, it's the Shabbat before the 9 of Av, Tisha B'Av. And we are already in a period of time that is called Bein Hameitsarim. Bein Hameitsarim is like a very narrow place, and imagine it's like a boat that's going between, you know, very narrow rocks in the ocean, and one wrong turn and you crash into the, you know, one of the rocks. So this time of the year is considered the most negative time in the year. But tonight, which is the Rosh Chodesh Av, the head of the month of Av in the Hebrew calendar, it starts the 9 days that are the most negative of the 3 weeks that are already negative. And we have different rules for this time of the year, like we can't have haircuts, we can't trim our nails, no weddings during the whole 3 weeks, especially not in the 9 days. Why? Because it's negative. You don't want to have you know, a negative root into something so happy. It's like mourning.
Also, don't go in the ocean, right?
Right. So
that's what I remember as a kid, not going to the ocean for my grandmother. It's like terrible things happen to Israel, right, during this time.
To everyone, it's a very dangerous time, right? Basically, you don't want to go into any situation that is a big risk. But about the ocean that you touched, and you're right, is that they say during this time it's good not to go to the ocean, not to go even to pools. Even showers, you know, don't do a bath at home, just do a shower. No bathing, like nothing that has to do, especially with water, that is either dangerous or that it's like too much of a pleasure, because this time is a mourning time. In the 9 of Av, the 2 holy temples fell. The final solution of the Jews in the Holocaust was signed. They expelled from Spain. A lot of negative things that were affecting all history happened on that, and other very negative events happened during this whole time. It's considered like a time with no protection like there usually is during other times in the year. And you just, like, whatever you do, just try not to put yourself out there too much, and not to just, you know, whatever you do, just kind of, you know, be more humble, hide a little bit and let this time pass.
To avoid unnecessary stuff, right?
What?
To avoid all unnecessary stuff. Whatever you can delay, delay it.
Exactly.
Yes.
And that goes also to court. That's very important. Like if you have any, you know, incident or something that you have to go to court for, try to delay. This is actually with the court matters. They say even to wait till the end of Av, because the 9 days they finished this year in July 30th, including, but the month of Av continued. This is just a 9 of Av. So do the math all the way till the end of Av. Just if you can avoid court, it's better. Also construction, whatever is not necessary. It means if a pipe blew and you have to fix it or something like that, or your, you know, something happened in the house, yeah, you can fix it. But to build all of a sudden a new swimming pool, don't do it during these 9 days. It's not necessary. You can do it.
But you're allowed to work, right? To do any work, business, stuff like that?
Yes, but on 9 of Av itself, it's a fast day.
Oh, yeah, this I know, not to do anything. I'm aware of that.
Yeah, so on the 9 of Av, which is this year, it's gonna, you know, the days in Judaism, they come in and sundown. So it's not in the mornings like we are used to. So it means that, let's say, Saturday night, it's actually already Sunday. Sunday night, it's already Monday. So the days enters at sundown. And
בוקר, יום אחד.
yeah, so exactly. From the creation in Genesis, they say that Hashem said, God says there that the days, they say from the evening and then to the morning, and that's why. So it was like that from days of creation. Just today, we're used to, in modern life, the day to enter in the morning, but it's not. In Judaism, it's still in the nighttime. That's how we refer to it. So the fast day starts this year on the 29th, because the Hebrew calendar goes by the sun and the moon, and the English calendar goes only by the sun. So there's sometimes it's not exactly on the same date. But this year, as I said, it's going to be on the 29th, all the way to the 30th at nighttime. And it's a 25 hours fast. It's a very hard fast, but what I recommend for people is that you start eating very early in the morning, and you try to eat like a good breakfast, good lunch, good like early dinner right before the fast starts, and of course drink more. And then it's kind of like you're missing just the breakfast and the lunch on the day after, because you kind of ate a full day, and then the nighttime you're going to eat your dinner. So it's hard, but you can do it. But the main reason for this fast is that this day is so negative. It's kind of like you want to disconnect from whatever is, is not like, whatever is connecting you to the physical world. It's kind of like, imagine that the dark side has the permission to control that day. So if you're eating something on that day, it's like you're eating something negative. Everything on that day turns to something else. So the best is just to kind of stop it and not to eat anything. Now, this fast is 25 hours, like another fast in the year, which is Yom Kippur, right? But this one is the most negative day in the year, and Yom Kippur is the most positive day in the year. So there's a question, right? Why are we fasting on both days? If Yom Kippur is so positive, and this one is so negative, why is this the same, traditions? There's a little bit of difference with, some of the things, but the main things that we're not allowed to do is in both of them. And it's because on the 9 of Av, we just want to disconnect from anything negative. We don't want to eat or drink or connect to any lust or anything physical that is around us, because it's like, as I said, like contaminated. But Yom Kippur, it's the holiest day, and it's the most positive day. So we want to just connect to our soul. We don't want to bother the soul when it can elevate itself so high with the physical matters. So it's not that it's contaminated. It's just we kind of say to the body, you sit aside, now it's my soul time. So it's the same laws, but just from a different direction. Do you have any questions about the 9 of Av, anyone?
Yeah, if you can repeat the why is Tisha B'Av a negative? Or in other words, why are we acting the same even though it's different atmosphere to these two holidays, Yom Kippur?
So right now in the universe, for a few reasons, one of the things that happened during that time of the year was the scene of the spies, the 12 spies in the Torah, Chet HaMeraglim. They already kind of set the tone for this period of time. If we had a few chances, we did the golden calf around that time. A lot of things that kind of like set the tone for us to have this period of time negative. But there's other reasons. And today, it's kind of like that day, there's a permission for the Satan, for the devil, to kind of control it for now, because we know also in Judaism there's a lot of opposite and opposite. So wherever there's the biggest darkness, there's also a hidden light.
Like in Purim.
Like in Purim. Purim was supposed to be negative, it became positive.
And Purim is actually approximately 6 months before Tisha B'Av, or 6 months after. So you have a continuation.
So anyway, this is a day that you don't want to, on the 9 of Av, it's a day that you don't want to connect to any negativity, and it's all around you anyway. So at least don't eat, don't drink, you know, kind of keep it low. Whatever that can connect you to lust, you know, the lust is waiting for us in mainly eating, drinking, and, you know, relationship, like when, you know, physical relationship. So you just kind of want to disconnect from that. And when it's Yom Kippur, you disconnect from it from a different reason, because it's so holy and there's a chance for the soul to elevate itself so high. So you don't want to bother the soul with the physical world. You want it to just elevate itself. So the fasting is coming from a different, you know, direction. Means you kind of tell the body on that moment, not like in the 9 of Av, like don't eat it because everything now is negative. You say, don't eat now because I want to focus on my soul right now.
It's like in Tisha B'Av, you're running away from something, and
Right.
in Yom Kippur, you're running towards something.
Exactly. Beautiful. Beautiful. Yeah. So it's Rosh Chodesh Av tonight. That's the connection. Okay. And Rosh Chodesh is in Hebrew. Rosh is the head, and the month is the, you know, Chodesh. So it's the head of the month, but it means also that's a seed level of the whole month. So whatever you're doing today and tonight is going to affect the whole month. When we scheduled this class, we didn't know it's going to be on Rosh Chodesh, but we're happy it is, because you know, even though this month specifically has a lot of negativity in it, and that's why they also call the Rosh Chodesh Av, they call it also Menachem Av. Menachem is like comfort. Because they want us to kind of get comfort, because this is, you know, the beginning of the month that, as we said, the holy temples, both of them, were destroyed. But it's still, nevertheless, it's recommended to light a candle and to wish, you know, to have like your own personal blessing for yourself, for your family, for all Am Yisrael. And also tonight is the day that Aharon, the priest, Aharon Cohen, was born and passed away. So this is like his Yahrzeit, we call it. And Aharon Cohen was, you know, the brother of Moses, Moshe, and the brother of Miriam. And he was a very special person. He was the first Kohen, the first priest. He was from the tribe of Levi, but he turned to be the Kohen. And he was a man of a lot of mercy and love, and his main thing was peace.
Okay, so Aaron Cohen basically in the Torah is equal to Moshe. Sometimes Moshe comes before, sometimes Moshe comes after Aaron. If you go around all the books that they are mentioned, you will see that sometimes one is coming before the other, so you know that they are equal toward each other. Now, the soul of Aaron Cohen was a very, very special person. The Midrash is talking about Aaron about a person that was fighting to get peace in all cause. No matter what, he would get peace. If he would know that two people have an argument or a fight or hate each other for some reason, the Midrash is saying that he would actually go to one person and start talking to him and tell him, you know, I spoke to the other guy without even talking to him. I spoke to the other guy, and you know, he's sorry about what he did to you, and he just wants to make peace with you. And then the other guy would tell Aaron, you know what, I was also wrong with the way I behaved. I want to go and make peace. And then he's going to tell him, you know what, I'm going to go and talk to him. Then he would go to the other guy and say, you know, I spoke to your friend. He told me that he's very sorry about what he did to you. And he would bring them together and make peace. So from Aaron Cohen, we're learning one thing that is called Sheker Shel Shalom, a lie of peace. A lie of peace or for peace? A lie of peace.
Life for peace.
Life for peace. Sometimes in life, in order to make peace, you can lie for it just to make the peace, because like a white lie, because Hashem wants to have peace all the time.
I just want to highlight about this that you should not lie is a part of the 10 Commandments. So So it's not like, okay, you know, you can lie, you know, Aaron, again, we say was the Kohen, a high priest. If you just go and lie, don't you think God would see it? Of course, right? But because the main thing was not to really hurt people, was actually to really make the unity back again and to help them to really, like my husband said, to make peace. That was considered, you know, shekel shel shalom, like a lie that is of peace, means that, you know, that it's really in a high cause, and you know, and it's not, God forbid, to think that it's okay to lie.
And,
oh, sorry.
And in Rosh Chodesh Av is the time that Aaron passed away. And in the Torah, it's mentioned that because of the way Aaron behaved, the people of Israel mourned over him more than any other person in the whole Torah, Nevi'im and Tuvim. The people mourned about Aaron more than anybody else, because Aaron HaKohen was the one that was fighting to get peace in between the people of Israel. Not a lot of people know about, I'm going to talk a little bit about the golden calf. And there's a short story about that Rabbi Nachman is saying about a king that had a son, and the son wanted to kill his father. So his servant told him, you know, I'll kill your father for you. And the servant is going to the king. He takes out the sword and he starts running and shouting, oh, I'm going to kill the king, and everybody stops him. So the king is taking him, and he knows something is wrong, and takes him, and he investigates what's going on. And the king tells him, I know that my son wants to kill me. And why did you help him, or why did you take the fault for him? So he explained to him that he took the fault because he didn't want his son to be ashamed of the things he did. And he didn't want to hurt the king, of course, but he would take the blame. Aaron HaKohen actually created the golden calf, but he did it in order for that the people of Israel will not get punished in that way. So he was able to take himself as a sacrifice in front of God, and to make sure that the rest of the people of Israel will not be hurt. He was looking for peace everywhere, every time, even if it will harm him.
And unfortunately, it caused him also the death of his two older sons, Nadav and Abihu. And it says after they passed away, Vaidom Aharon, like he just was quiet. You know, he just knew the love for the people and the love for everyone else, and for, you know, for God was so strong with him that he's a role model. And that's another candle that we recommend to light today. So one candle or more for the Rosh Chodesh, but one candle also for the soul of Aharon. When you light a candle for a tzaddik, for a righteous person, you get, you know, the protection, and you can kind of, you know, just like a ner neshama for that soul. That and a tzaddik, as we said, his birthday and his yahrzeit, what we call it, the day he passed away, is on the same day, because he kind of finished the whole life cycle. So the day that he passed away is tonight, tonight and tomorrow. And
I want to say something short. The day that Nadav and Abihu died, it was the first day that the Mishkan was built. It was Yom Kippur. And Aaron HaKohen heard that his sons died like few minutes before he was about to do the first time that the Mishkan was open, the Haktir, and he did such an amazing sacrifice, and with such an amazing inner power to be able to bring all of Israel Zakaim Badin, bring them to pass the trial in a good way in Yom Kippur.
All right, and with that, we're also gonna, I mean, as we talked about it, it's the 9 days. And as you can see, even though it's negative time, there's a lot of things that are happening. And the Shabbat, I'm going back to Parashat Dvarim, this is always the parasha that is read in the Shabbat before the 9 of Av. And it's such a special Shabbat that it also got the name Shabbat Chazon. Chazon is a vision. And the name was given because of, this is the, the Haftarah in this Shabbat is also Shabbat Nachamu, and it's like that, like to get comfort. But why is it called also Shabbat Chazon? Chazon is a vision, right? So right before Tisha B'Av, what's going on? And, if you even want to make it even harder, think about the Shabbat right before the Holy Temple fell, right? God knew, Hashem knew that it's going to fall, right? It's going to be destroyed. And even the righteous people there, they knew. And how can you even get up from something like that? They say, when the Holy Temples fell, especially when the Romans were there, the amount of blood that was spilled in Jerusalem, they say there's like rivers of blood all the way to your knees. They killed everyone. They didn't spare anyone. When people even tried to run from the tunnels outside of Jerusalem, the Romans caught them and crucified them. We think the cross is from Christianity, but the Romans crucified a lot of Jews. And whoever they caught, children, women, everyone that they caught, they would crucify them. And the people inside Jerusalem, when they went inside, they killed the women, the children, everyone they could find, they killed them. And how do you even get up from something like that? Right? I mean, we think, oh, it was so long ago, but they killed so many people, and the rest were taken as slaves, and a lot of them were also taken to be like gladiators in their Colosseum for their, cruel games, fighting against lions and different, wild animals, and they found their death pretty soon in that way if they didn't find it in the other way. How can you even get up from that, from those, ashes and build yourself? So the Zohar explains that in this Shabbat, there's a very special strength. That, and it talks in the Zohar about a story that, let's say there's a sailor that is about to leave his home for a very long time. And he has a wife. And he loves his wife, and he wants to make sure that his wife would not forget him and would stay loyal to him no matter what until he comes back. So before he goes, he stays with her one night, and that night they're only they are together, those two. And that special night, when he's with her intimately, God gives him a special power that will stay with her and with him until he comes back. The special love, that special vision, that no matter what's going to happen and no matter how long, we're going to meet again. And when we take it back to our lives, look at the Jewish people. There's so many nations that tried to kill us. If we didn't have their names in Torah, we wouldn't even know about them. The Jewish people, no matter how they try to destroy us, we get up, we clean the dirt, and we just keep on walking because we have the vision. We know that sooner or later, hopefully sooner, we will get the Holy Temple back. Sooner or later, Mashiach will come. Sooner or later, we will have our own kingdom back in our holy land with King David and, in the right way, just like before. And we know, because we have it in our hearts, we have a piece of God in each and every one of our hearts that knows that it's just a matter of time. And that's what this Shabbat is all about. So I really encourage you guys to read the Parsha on Saturday morning and to read the Haftarah on Saturday morning, because that's what you're going to get. Now, when you connect to the vision that God wants to give you, do you think it's only about Jerusalem? Do you think it's only about Israel? No. what this Shabbat is all about, to give you clarity for your own life. What is your vision for your own life? Right? The Torah is always giving us in the micro and the macro. There's the whole nation, there's also the individuals. What do you want for your life? How do you imagine your own life right now? With all that's happening, where do you see yourself in a month, in a year? Do you want to get clarity? This is the Shabbat for you. It gives you the clarity, but it gives it pure from above, not from ego, not from what other people think about you, from above, directly from God. This is what this Shabbat is all about, and it's very, very powerful. Okay, so one last thing.
Wait.
Yes, go ahead.
Sure. Thanks. Excuse me. So about the idea of getting clarity. So, you know, what I'm curious about is how do we like get out of our own like way for what we want? Do you know what I mean? Like how, like if this Shabbat is about getting clarity from Hashem and getting that vision, I don't know. Do you know what I mean? That it's just like we can put our own like stuff on it rather than trying to like step back and open the channel. So maybe you could just say something about the opening of the channel, so it's not us, that we're really getting Hashem's vision.
So that's first of all it's an excellent point. Okay, I'm just we're both going to give you our answers.
Yeah.
Great. Okay. Wait, I'm going to mute myself again. Okay.
Okay. So first of all, there's something called the reactive system. It's a well-known Kabbalistic expression that we all have it. And even the most righteous people, we all have what is called the reactive system. And some call it our ego, right? Some call it the Yetzer Tov, the good urge and the bad urge, and all that's in between. But bottom line, our instinct usually will be to jeopardize things for ourselves. And you know, it can be like an ego, and oh, let's not forget that with all the fire and negativity that we have, we're also entering the month of Leo, because they want us to have the challenge, you know.
Everybody's becoming a lion.
Yeah, lion is a lot of ego, right? It has a lot of leadership, right? We wanted clarity, we want leadership. It's also a lot of fire and a lot of ego. But that's the thing. You know, you want to really achieve something, you have to do it when it's hard. And there's a Kabbalistic expression that say a candle in the middle of the day. Is it on? Does it flick or not? And the question is, well, let's wait till it's dark, till darkness comes, and then we'll see. So the only way we can really check our own power and our own strength is when the darkness comes. So they're kind of building the scene for us. And one of the ways to stop the reactive system is a lot of practice. It's not going to happen from like that. It's never like that. The real good things in life, they never come for free. It comes with a lot of effort and it's hard. But the first thing is just to recognize that we have it in us and to ask a question. Like, is it me talking right now, or is it my reactive system? Is it the part of God talking inside me, or is my reactive system? And if you're not sure, I mean, if you're sure, you're on the right way to stop it, at least if you know it. If you're not, just shut down everything. Just like, okay, I'm not thinking anything, and just focus on, okay, God, I just want to be filled with your light. So I stop my reaction. I don't know anything, and I want you to come in. And then slowly, you'll feel the differences. You'll feel it, that when you're stopping what you think you should do and what you know best and what you want to do, and you just let the light of God go inside you. Just say, okay, I'm open. I'm a vessel. Just do the natural thing. Do your thing, God. I'm open, right? Because when we're full of ourselves, you say, okay, you're doing just fine, so I'm going. But if you're saying, no, I'm not, I want you in, the summoning, just summon it, you're already going to get, the right things in you. And then it's hard work of just stopping it again and again, shutting the reactive system again and again. It takes practice. It's not going to happen in one day. But again, this Shabbat Just by sitting there, doing nothing but reading or hearing the Torah, you're already getting it in. So, you know, free gifts, right? Free gifts, free spiritual gifts. Why not? Just sit there and get it in, observe it in. That's it. I know.
Rabbi Nachman gives us an amazing tool. It's called Hitbodedut. The tool is called Hitbodedut. What does it mean? Hitbodedut means that you sit and you talk to Hashem, you talk to God, and you to be alone with God. And you talk to God and you tell God everything that is on your heart, but you tell the truth, only the truth. You don't start to give yourself cutting corners. Like when you're sitting with your friends, you're going to say, oh, this guy did this to me and this and this, and this wasn't my fault. You don't give yourself any discounts. And you talk openly. And you will start to see things change in your life. You have to be really open about things you did, things you feel, and give the exact reason of why you feel them. Or if you don't know why you feel them or what is the reason, you ask God for it and God will guide you. So for instance, if I'm going to sit right now and talk to God about something, I will say, you know, I felt angry because this and this reason. And then I will take the reason and think of what do I think of it? And try to take responsibility upon my actions. Because at the end of the day, the whole world is a reflection to us. It's called, in the Kabbalah, it's called the world of the mirrors. Every person that we see in life, like, you know, when you take two balls in geometry and you put them together, there is only one point that is hitting one ball to the other. Now, if those balls were marbles, each ball would see the other one reflected, but in an odd way. So when it sees it in an odd way, so let's say I like a person because he is giving a lot of charity, and I think this person is amazing. This point of connection between me and him is a point that I think is good in me, and I think is good in him. But it doesn't mean that they're equal. The same thing, if I don't like a person, I don't like him because he's a crook. So I need to ask myself, why am I a crook? And how am I becoming a crook? And you take this into the next level of talking to God. Start with like 5 minutes, 6 minutes, and move forward with it.
It's like when you see something negative about someone, you say, okay, what do I need to fix in order for me not to experience that in my life? It goes a lot with with family and like immediate family, especially because they know to step on all of our nerves, right? They have that special ability to just get us, crazy, right? They know us best. They know all the right places to push, right? But when, let's say, someone is getting upset about someone, okay, so at that moment, the reactive system, again, gets upset. Like you get upset at someone and you've been screaming at them. But then after, you have to kind of sit with yourself and say, okay, what do I need to fix in myself in order for me not to get upset from those things? Because it's like Noam said, it's like a mirror that is reflecting to me what I need to either fix in myself or what do I need to learn not to react to. Maybe it's not something that I have inside me, but it's something that I need to learn about for my, from my own destiny or for my whatever I need to do in the world. And who knows? So instead of even praying, like, let that person be less, angry, I'm gonna kind of flip it on myself and say, please God help me, to control my anger, to control my reactive system.
Let me be more accepting of his anger.
I don't know if you need to accept it, you just need to change it in yourself. You can say, okay, what am I doing wrong that I'm getting this anger? towards me. Because sometimes you have to put a boundary, right? If someone, God forbid, hurts someone, someone else, if someone is really, hurting you, you need to say enough, right? But I'm not saying, God forbid, I'm not, promoting anyone to hurt anyone else. You have to learn to put boundaries. You have to say, sometimes when someone comes and hurt you, your lesson was to say no more, right? That's the lesson also. There's always a lesson there. There's always a tikkun. In Hebrew, the word correction, tikkun. There's always a tikkun. And it takes a lot of learning to really understand in each situation, what is my tikkun even? But if the focus is on myself, taking responsibility on myself, you kind of learn faster to know what's the exact correction with each situation. And that gives you power. That gives you control over your own, path in life. And
כאילו, בלי תגובה, נכון? זה...
what?
אם קורה איזו סיטואציה עם איזה בן אדם, אפילו את נוסעת בכביש ויש איזה מישהו חותך אותך, הרעיון הוא לא להתעצבן מזה ושלא יהיה תגובה בעיקרון. ללא תגובה.
So
זה...
you read something very, and there's a story about it. You touched the point of road rage, right? Like if someone is saying something.
Yeah,
so,
I mean...
Yeah, so someone told me a funny story. It says, let's say you're driving in the road and someone is even cursing, right? Let's say they say stupid. Oh, you stupid, If you turn your head and you're answering, like that person just called a name. If I'm answering, maybe that's my name. But if I don't think this is my name, why do I bother answer that, right? If I answer, he called a name, just like he called George, right? I'm not George. I don't care what he said, right? So
the strength is not to react. If something happened, you're stronger if you don't react to a situation.
Yeah, but think about it. The thing is, the place that you put the light inside, the light of God inside you, like saying, okay, that's not my name, right? I stopped the reactive system. Yes, like you said, don't react is better than reacting, right? But my reaction when I'm choosing not to answer that name was already after I kind of processed it, right? So I kind of did react, but from a different place. I did react. Inside myself, I react and I said, I refuse to that name. That's not me, right? So I kind of gained back control.
Yes.
Right?
Exactly.
I'm not offended by that because that's not my name. I did process it. So that's where, the best for all of us to get. And it's a lot of practice.
Oh,
So,
wow.
your advice then when something negative happens to you, somebody does something negative to you that causing you negative feelings, and even if you are assuming responsibility for it, but how do you address the fact if you can't understand or figure out what is this trying to show you in yourself?
Well, it depends, right? It depends on the situation. And usually if it's someone that we really care for, it's going to hurt way more than someone that we don't care about. It's always like that. But another thing is that, in that situation, just by thinking, what is it in for me? Let me just check that I'm understanding you. You said there's a situation, someone hurt me, and besides thinking what is it in for me? What did I do to kind of deserve it or to have it happen to me? You are thinking, how can I change it? Is that the question?
Yeah, I guess I'm trying to figure out what is the lesson or what is the mirror trying to show you? Sometimes it's not so obvious what the mirror is trying to show about yourself.
I guess it depends on each situation, but because it can be sometimes that imagine someone who's, let's say, fired you from your work, and you're so depressed and so this and so that, and you don't even raise your head to see it, and actually they did a favor to you because you were so stuck and afraid to move, when in fact there was a better job for you that was just waiting around the corner, right? And you were so stubborn to hold on, even when you felt it's not the right place anymore, even if you felt it's not good for you, you kind of held there, and then they fire and you feel so much pain, only to find out, I don't know, even 2 weeks, 3 weeks later, that actually they did a favor to you because you would never leave. So they kind of kicked you out in order for you to find a better thing, you know, something much better. In other situations, you know, it can be that, you know, you really had to learn something. Sometimes it's to learn not to react. Sometimes it's to learn to say yes when you're stubborn, you don't want to say yes. Sometimes it's to learn to say no.
I think it's to not speak gossip and pass judgment on people that you don't understand their situation, because so many times in life as you get older, you discover your own personal relationship to that situation, and everybody's relationships are private. So you shouldn't speak on other people's situations publicly.
So you're talking about the
past
genre,
judgment,
right?
Yes, yeah.
It's another thing it can be. You're right. There's another thing, and even to just remember that nobody's perfect, and sometimes someone hurts us because they're going through so many things, right? And just to remember to be compassionate. We're so judgmental, right? We love to judge other people, right? With judgment and this, and they did this, but on us, no, we're saints, right? We did it because we were sick, because we were tired.
Exactly, the excuses, yeah, the judgment. Yeah. And I think too, when you get to heaven, isn't it said, you're going to have a mirror come up in front of you and they're going to say, this person did this, what say you of that? And they're going to show that image of you speaking judgment on them. And they're going to say, and that's your judgment. There it is. You laid the judgment out. And, you know, so it's a lesson to never speak on other people, because it's so powerful and it's going to be mirrored right back to you. Have you heard that?
Yeah, we have a lot to do in this world, right? We have a lot to learn, and we're all kind of like in school. This is the best school ever, right? This is the playground. We're all playing here. We're all getting hurt. We're falling from the swings, and we have to just get up and continue. Because, you know, in Judaism, we also know about reincarnation. So if we're not doing our correction right now, we're gonna have to go back and do it over again and again and again and again. And sometimes it gets harder and harder. So, you know, as long as you're trying, as long as you're really trying your best, and that's an answer that actually you can give yourself in the mirror. Am I trying my best? Am I doing my best or not, right? So as long as you're on the right way, and you're doing your best, that's you know, give yourself a pat on the shoulder, because that's what it's all about. You know, to be kind, work on your kindness, to take responsibility, and to be a sharing person. That's the main thing that a spiritual person should look for. I'm going to repeat it. So sharing, independence, and what was my last one? Who heard me? Caring. Yeah, caring for others.
That's pretty.
What?
That's pretty much Moses' legacy in this parasha, no?
Beautiful. You see, it's all simple. We look for all the highest answers, and bottom line, you know, we can hear all of that, but bottom line, simplicity. It all comes to how you behave to others and how you know, how you react to them. Right. I want to finish with something that is happening during this time also. So even though it's such a negative time, we have to remember that there's also something called the hidden light, that is during the days of creation. A very special light was hidden during this time of the year. So we always have to remember that in the darkest time of our lives, there's always a big light. Maybe it will take us time to reveal it. Maybe we're going through things that are very difficult right now, but it's there. Maybe it's hidden, but it's there. So just like we talked about, it's the time of the Satan, and it's negative. Why there's so much darkness? Because the negativity, the darkness, the devil wants to prevent us from connecting to the hidden light. And that's why the Kabbalists in the 9 of Av, in Tisha B'Av, are actually saying Chag Sameach. Why are they saying Chag Sameach? Because on that day, just like it's now so negative, that's also the day that the Mashiach, the Messiah, will be revealed. And when we are sitting there and fasting and mourning, we also never want to forget that we want to connect to the light. We want to connect to the energy of Mashiach and not to the energy of the Satan. So that's very important. And there is a very special tzaddik that wanted to help us. And his birthday and Yahrzeit, the day he passed away, is going to be on the 5th of Av. This year it's going to be Saturday night to Sunday night. And his name is Dvarim, Dvarim Zal. Dvarim is the acronym for Rabbi Yitzchak Luria. He's a very, very big sage, very big Kabbalist that lived in, he was born in 1534 in the city of Jerusalem. And he was a remarkable person that changed the whole way of learning Kabbalah in the whole world till today. Kabbalah is the secrets of Judaism. And I'm just going to tell you very shortly, he was born in Jerusalem, and from the time he was a little child, he already was remarkable. He was studying Torah in a very fast way. It was like a meteor. In Hebrew, we call it ilui, like going up, like very elevated. And then when he was about 8, his father passed away. His mother decided to send him to her brother, that was the rabbi of Cairo, Egypt. And he goes there to continue to study Torah there. And everyone around him started to say that this one is very fast, but they kind of hide him there, just more in his uncle's house. And he studied Kabbalah and he studies, Torah in such a level that at one point he gets the revelation of Elijah, Eliyahu Hanavi. He started learning directly. That's it. This person, he got to that level that now Elijah is coming and teaching him directly. Now, at one point, he was told, now you have to leave Cairo and you have to go to the north of Israel, to the city of Tzfat. And you're going to have to teach there a specific student, special student. You can teach other students too, but you have a student, special student that you have to teach. That's your goal in life. That's what you came to do in this world. And the name of that student is Rabbi Chaim Vital. Now, the problem was that Rabbi Chaim Vital lived in Syria. He was in the community in Syria, the Jewish community there. And Dvarim was in Cairo, right? No cell phones back then. So first of all, Dvarim decides to go to Tzfat. He does what Eliyahu says, right? No questions in his life. Righteous people, that's it. I have a message from God or from his messenger, I'm going. Goes to Tzfat. And now he has to get his students. So how does he call his students? His students. He appears in his dream. So now Rabbi Chaim Vital in Syria started having this special dream that repeats itself night after night after night. This special man reveals to him in the middle of the night and says, you have to come to Tzfat to learn with me. I'm a teacher. It's time. Just come. And every time in the morning, Rabbi Chaim Vital wakes up. He has a family. He has this. What? I can't. I'm in Syria. What am I going to move now? Just because of my dream. And this dream just, keep on coming back, coming again and again every night. After a few months, he just say, okay, I'm going. He goes to Tzfat. He goes to the same place in his dream. And what a surprise. He sees Dvarim. But now Dvarim is mad at him. He says, how dare you? I've been calling you for so long. How dare you not come? I don't have time, I don't have time. Why are you wasting my time? And he doesn't want to talk to him. He sends him away. And Rabbi Chaim Vital is like, sorry, and he has to come. He comes back again and again and again for something like a month or so, until finally Dvarim agrees to teach him. And then he teaches him all the secrets. Now, Dvarim by now knows to talk to animals, knows the language of the birds, knows the language of the trees and the herbs. He knows to go in nature. They used to go to journeys in the forest and to learn the secrets of the universe together. At one point, Dvarim said to Rabbi Chaim Vital, there's going to be a question that when you ask me that, I know that I will know that you're ready, that you know everything, but after that question, I'm going to have to go. And they continue to study for about 2 years. Meanwhile, he has more students. And then when, one day when they're in the forest, Rabbi Chaim Vital asks a question, and Dari tells him the answer, and then he says, that was the question, and now I have to pass away. And he passed away on that day. Dari was 38 years old only. Can you imagine? 38 years old. And what he achieved in the world was, being literally half an angel. And there's many books that Rabbi Chaim Vital wrote from all the studies that he had with Dari. I recommend to look them up. And
it's a Chaim.
What?
The Chaim? The Chaim, is that one of them?
Rabbi Chaim Vital.
No, the book is It's a Chaim. Is it one of those books?
One of them.
Yeah.
It's a Chaim is one of them. There's also Kitvei Ari. There's Sharei Kedusha, the Gates of Holiness. There's quite a few of them. Now, so when he has his yurtzeit, he's passing away on Saturday night, it's kind of like a fresh air is coming into this negative time. It's kind of like he was, as you understand, a very holy man, and he kind of, planned it with heavens when he's going to pass away, more or less. So by passing away on that day, that we can light a candle Saturday night this year, on the 5th of Av, he kind of gave us the opportunity to connect to holiness and to get like really breathing to our souls. So I recommend to light a candle for him, and maybe even Google, some studies or some stories about the Ari. And if you guys are still willing to listen, I have one story of the Ari and what he did. You want to say something before? So there was, slowly people knew about Dari. He was hiding himself for a while, but in Tzfat, when he was teaching Rabbi Chaim Vital, they really understood that they have the merit to really have a very big holy man in their city. And there was a big synagogue in Tzfat, in the city of Tzfat, and there was the rabbi of the place. And one day, a very rich man comes to Dari and asks him a question. Says, Hashem was very good to me. God was very good to me. And, I'm giving tzedakah, charity and everything, but I want to give something special. I want to give something private to him. And I'm a baker, and I want to give him something that I made. I don't want to just give money to show him my gratitude. So me and my wife, we want to make beautiful, beautiful chalot, 2 challahs, and give it to God. So do you know how can I do that? And the Ari, he doesn't laugh. He thinks about it and says, you know what? I have the exact, the best answer for you. You go on Friday and you take those beautiful chalot that you make. You're going to go inside the synagogue. You're going to open the ark, the Chodesh, and you're going to put the chalot in there for God. And the man is so happy. Wow, thank you, Dari. You really understood me. I thought you were just going to tell me to put charity, but you really got me. And he goes and he does that. He goes so happy to his wife. And then they make the 2 huge chalot, beautiful, with whatever you want on that. Made it so fancy. And he goes so excited to the synagogue on Friday. And he goes quietly. Nobody's in the shul. And he opens the ark. He says, God, I'm so happy. You blessed me so much. I'm so grateful. I'm giving you this beautiful chalot. He puts it in and he closes the aron. And he goes away. A few, like a half an hour later, a very poor guy from the town is just coming to the synagogue. He checks if there's anyone there. And he goes inside and he goes to the Aron Kodesh and he starts crying and crying and crying and says, God, I'm so poor. I lost my business. I'm not a person that likes to complain, but listen, today is the worst because I don't even have money for my wife to make food for Shabbat. I can't go back home like that. He's like crying and banging on the Aron Kodesh, and as he does that, it opens and plach, 2 huge challahs are falling on him. And he's like, thank you, Hashem. And he goes home so happy. And he brings his wife the beautiful chalot, and they're so happy. And since then, every Friday, The rich guy brings the chalot and say thank you. And the poor guy comes a half an hour later and takes the chalot. You know, and the rich guy is so happy because even after in Arvit, he goes and he checks and he sees that the chalot are gone and he's so happy. God, you know, received my offering. And that's how it goes for 16 years. 16 years that the rich guy puts the chalot and a half an hour later, the poor guy takes it and so happy. One day, the rabbi of the place, had to pick some stuff, and as he's sitting there, it took him longer than he thought. He sits there, and as he's writing his stuff, all of a sudden he sees from the second floor, he sees the rich guy comes and pray and puts the chalot and say, thank you, Hashem. A half an hour later, he sees the poor guy, goes inside, pray, thank the chalot, so happy, thank you Hashem, and go. The rabbi say, those two fools. He calls both of them and he says, you guys, you're so silly. What, you don't know? What do you think God takes he says to the rich guy, what do you think God takes your chalot? He takes your chalot. Like you put it there and he comes after and he takes your chalot. There's no miracles here. What are you doing? He took your chalot. It's very nice of you, but it's not God. On that moment, the Ari comes to the shul and he tells this rabbi, he says, for 16 years, the rich guy never met the poor guy, not even once. The exact time that the rich guy put the chalot was so accurate, nothing but a miracle. They never met. The exact time that the poor person came. For 16 years, the miracles and the love, the pure belief that those two people shared in this synagogue was so powerful and gave so much pleasure in upper worlds that even the angel of death could not enter this shul. With what you did right now, you broke that pure belief of those two people. And beside that, you need to know that your day to go, to pass away, was 16 years ago. And because of their miracle, the angel of death could not come. But now that you broke it, prepare, because in 1 hour, you're going to pass away. And that's what happened.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's the Ari. So we wish you Chodesh Tov.
Chodesh Tov.
תודה רבה.
And
Thank you.
lots of love.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, guys.
Thank you, Noam and Sherry. Fantastic. Can I just ask you a really fast question?
Sure.
Yes.
Is that okay? So what is it about the Ari mikvah that makes it like a special mikvah? Like, why is the mikvah part like?
The Arizal promised that every person that will do a tvila in his mikveh will go out of this world as a fixed, corrected Baal Tshuva.
Wow.
Once you go, you will not leave the world if you didn't do true Tshuva.
Where is this place?
No, wait. No, can you say that again? I'm sorry. You won't leave the world what?
Without Tshuva, without becoming repentant and be pure. But the thing is, once you go there, everything in your life will change, and you're gonna start getting corrections upon corrections upon corrections. But you will pass away corrected.
Where is that?
This mikveh is in the graveyard of Tzfat in Israel.
The old graveyard.
The old graveyard.
It's
So
very.
why don't they?
It's very.
Why don't they have it? Oh, I'm sorry.
One thing. It's very close to his grave, to the Ari grave. The Ari is
Yes.
buried in Tzfat.